Have you seen the latest photos of Eamonn Holmes? If you've been following the veteran broadcaster's journey lately, you know it hasn't been an easy road. Between the headlines and the health updates, it's been a turbulent few years for the 65-year-old TV legend. But this week, amidst the difficult news, we got a glimpse of something heartwarming, a moment of genuine support, elegance, and resilience. Eamonn stepped out in Mayfair attending John Caldwell's lavish charity event, and he wasn't alone. By his side was his girlfriend, Katie Alexander, and honestly, they looked like a united front against the world. But as we know with Eamonn, behind the smiles and the flashbulbs, there is a much grittier, more painful reality he is battling every single day. Let's dive into the night out that had everyone talking, and the heartbreakingly honest admission Eamonn made on live TV that has us all rooting for him even more. A night of elegance and support in Mayfair. There is something incredibly touching about seeing someone push through physical pain to show up for a cause. Eamonn, looking distinguished as ever in a crisp white shirt and a navy blue overcoat, cut a dashing figure at the event held at Caldwell's sprawling mansion. However, the reality of his condition was visible. Using his walking aid, Eamonn navigated the event, a stark reminder of the mobility issues that have plagued him since 2021. But he had help. Beside him stood Katie Alexander, 43, looking the picture of elegance. She stunned in a floor-length purple gown, teamed with a cozy fauve fur brown jacket and what appeared to be a classic black quilted Chanel bag. But the most important accessory, her arm, linked firmly with his. As they made their way into the venue, Katie was seen holding onto Eamonn, offering the physical stability he needs right now. It's a small gesture, but anyone who has watched a loved one struggle with mobility knows exactly what that grip means. It says, "I got you." It was a moment of light, but earlier that week, Eamonn had shared a glimpse of the darkness. "I just can't wait." The heartbreaking confession. We love Eamonn because he's unfiltered. He doesn't sugarcoat life. And recently, while presenting on GB News, he stripped away the celebrity veneer to talk about something deeply personal and, frankly, terrifying for many people dealing with health issues: loss of control. During a segment discussing a news story about Peter Mandelson urinating in a London street, the conversation took a turn that nobody expected. Most presenters might have made a joke and moved on. Eamonn didn't. He made it personal. The story clearly resonated with him due to his own spinal issues. In a moment of raw vulnerability, he admitted to his co-presenter, Ellie Costello, that there are days where the urge to go is so sudden and overwhelming, he simply cannot wait. "I'm getting over a medical condition and I just can't wait," Eamonn confessed on air. And then, Mandelson was in the street. But what else is the man to do? Knock on someone's door and say, "Would you let me go and have a pee in your house?" It's a dilemma most of us take for granted, the ability to hold on. But Eamonn peeled back the curtain on the indignity of chronic illness. He added, "Most people are going to say, 'How dare you?' I'm not going to do that. So I'm saying there is a difficulty in public about where you actually go to relieve yourself. That's the thing." The clash behind the scenes. Here is where it gets even more relatable for anyone who feels unheard. Eamonn wanted to keep talking about this. He wanted to explore the reality of this dilemma, perhaps because it's his reality. But his producers, they wanted to move on to the competition segment. You could hear the frustration in his voice as he berated the production team live on air. "And as my producer says in my ear, the giveaway is next." They're obviously not interested in this dilemma or how it relates to me identifying with it. It was a flash of the old fiery Eamonn, but it also highlighted a sad truth. The world often wants to move on to the fun stuff, while those suffering are left trying to explain their daily battles. The toughest stage of my life. To understand why that moment on GB News was so charged, we have to look at what Eamonn's life looks like when the cameras are off. Since his spinal injury in 2021, his life has changed irrevocably. The man who was once a staple of energetic morning television is now dependent on others for the most basic human tasks. In a gut-wrenching interview with the Sunday World, Eamonn laid it all bare. "I have to have carers now looking after me," he revealed. "Somebody dresses me in the morning, somebody undresses me at night, somebody gets my food for me." Read that again. For a man who has spent decades in the public eye, commanding studios and interviewing prime ministers, that loss of independence must be shattering. He is currently undergoing experimental treatment in a desperate bid to regain some quality of life. I have to be tested with spinal injections to see if it will take, and then grow some life back into my spine and legs, he explained. It's all very experimental. I'll know next week. He didn't mince words about the toll it's taking. I'd say this is the toughest stage of my life ever, and I just battle on. Why we keep watching? Seeing Eamonn with Katie at the charity gala, smiling despite the pain, and hearing him fight to tell his truth on air. It paints a picture of a man who is down, but definitely not out. It reminds us that health is fragile. It reminds us that having a hand to hold, whether it's a partner, a carer, or a friend, makes the battle a little more bearable. Eamonn's willingness to speak about the embarrassing stuff, like incontinence and the need for carers, does a massive service to the millions of people suffering in silence. He's showing us that even when you need a walker, and even when you need help getting dressed, you can still put on a navy coat, grab your partner's arm, and face the world. We are sending Eamonn all the strength in the world for those experimental treatments. What do you think? Do you appreciate Eamonn's honesty about his health battles? Have you or a loved one ever had to deal with the loss of independence that comes with chronic pain? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going.